Welcome back to the best series on the internet. We have the ESPN Fantasy Team of the Week. This was the highest scoring team you could have had in fantasy football in week 7 of the NFL season. Starting off with the quarterback, you should have had Bo Nix of the Broncos. He put up 39.96, most of that coming in the fourth quarter against the Giants. What an impressive way to finish a game. Definitely a great way to make this list. A running back one spot, you should have had Christian McCaffrey. He put up 39.1 points. Surprisingly, only his first appearance on this list, considering he is the number 1 ranked running back in fantasy, as he has been having himself a very dominant season. A running back 2 spot, you should have had Jahmyr Gibbs. He put up 36.8 points, also having a very dominant season. Now the 4th ranked running back in fantasy, but yet again only making his first appearance on this list of the year. At your wide receiver 1 spot, you should have had Jamar Chase. He is still putting up tons of points, 38.1 this week with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Now the number 2 ranked receiver in fantasy and moving up that list pretty quickly. At your wide receiver 2 spot, you should have had Devontae Smith. He put up 33.3 points. Not having as dominant a show in this season, but still he is the 11th ranked receiver in fantasy, so it's hard to say you wouldn't want to have this guy on your team. At your tight end spot, you should have had one of 2 guys, either Trey McBride of the Cardinals or Oronde Gadsden of the Chargers. Both these guys scored 29.4 points, insane weeks for tight ends, yet they are coming from different ends of the spectrum, with Trey McBride being the 2nd ranked tight end in fantasy. And Oronde Gadsden, I hadn't even heard of his name before this week, but as you can see, he was projected 7.6 points. Either way, both had a great week. At your flex spot, you should have had Jonathan Taylor. He put up 34.2 points, his 4th appearance on this list of the season in the first 7 weeks. That is absolutely unbelievable, and yet he's still only the 2nd ranked running back behind Christian McCaffrey in fantasy. A great week for the Wisconsin alum. At your defense, you should have had the Browns. They are now the 5th ranked defense with 24 points this week in a pretty offensively dominated week. It's surprising they were able to do that. A great week for the Browns. And finally, at your kicker spot, you should have had one of 2 guys, either Brandon Aubrey, the GOAT himself, or Will Richard of the Vikings. Once again, coming from different sides of the spectrum, Brandon Aubrey, obviously the number 1 kicker in the league, projected 9.2, doubled that, got 18 this week. Just the average week for the guy. And Will Richard, on the other hand, 10th ranked kicker in the league with his first appearance this week. Can't take anything away from him. And if you had all of these guys on your team, you would have scored 292.86 points. That is just absolutely unfathomable. For example, this team was projected 141.6 points, and most people in your league probably didn't even score that much, and this team would have more than doubled that score. This team would have beat any team you could come up with in the past 2 years to try and beat it. But how many of these guys did you actually have on your team? Did they help you to a victory this week? Tell me in the comments down below who you had or who you were playing against that helped you win or lose this week. And if you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing and help me out so much more than you think. And be back to see who did good next week.